So this video is going to take place in Los Angelesville. We're going to follow first-time house flippers, and they're going to enlist in the help of our friend Tarek. I think I said it right? Tarek. Tarek. We're going to talk loans, closing costs, interest, and more.
Let's do the math there real quick on that.
If you buy the house for $560,000, you're gonna have about $10,000 in closing costs. It's probably gonna take 5 months start to finish with the project at $3,000 a month in a mortgage payment, which is $15,000. When you go to sell the house, you're gonna have about $30,000 in commission and closing costs, and then we have to pay to fix up the house. And I estimate it's probably gonna cost about $70,000. So your break even is gonna be $685,000.
Let's do the math there real quick on that. So I'm just going to break out my calculator real fast, and we've got $560,000. So let's do $3,000 at 12 months. That's $36,000. Divide that by 560,000. And this is also assuming that your closing costs, your rehab costs, all this stuff are not getting rolled into the loan. So you're putting that out of pocket with cash. So that's a 6.4% interest rate. So I'm assuming that he's just saying, oh, on average, bank rates are 6.4%. But you're not paying that. Like, these numbers are way off. You're paying somewhere around 2 points, 12%, or if you're in our 7-figure flipping community, maybe like somewhere between 0.5 point and a point, and somewhere around 7 to 8 to 9%, depending on the hard money lender that we have a relationship with and whether you can use them or not. So this is way off. Let's do the real math here. So let's say we got a $560,000 purchase. We got a $10,000 closing cost. We've got the rehab costs rolled into a loan. So now we've got $560,000 plus $10,000 plus $70,000. So now we have $640,000 into this house. And let's just say, for ease of math, that we're just going to have 12% flat interest. Because that's about, on average, your hard money rate. If you do points and fees and a lower interest rate, or you just find somebody to lend at 10 or 12%. So let's just say 12%. Okay? And now we're doing that for 5 months. So at 12%, a year would be $76,800. Right? And so let's just say we use half a year. We use 6 months. We're getting in and out in 6 months. They were 5. That's $38,400. Over double. So let's just double the interest that they put on there, $15,000, and make it $30,000. Okay? So now the real break even is $715,000 in resale before they start looking at that. And selling costs, let's see, selling costs, I usually roll in, he's got $30,000 in selling costs. I think this is off as well. Let's just say we sold this house for $715,000. Actually, we got to sell it for more, right? We want to make some money. So let's say theirs was $740,000. 6% of that alone, let's say we're getting a realtor at 6% to sell our house. That's $44,400, not $30,000. So you can see this is way off. Usually I roll, because then you have to pay closing costs on the sale. You've got a few other things that get rolled in there. Usually I look at somewhere between 7 and 9% of my sale price in my selling costs. So let's say we sold this house at $740,000, like they talked about in the beginning, and let's just use the low end of 7%. That's $51,800. So we're an extra $21,000. So now our break even is really $735,000. So if they sold this house, and this is why these shows are so messed up, if they sold this house for $740,000 like they said, they're going to make $5,000. That's assuming that their rehab is on budget at $70K. And I do think the rehab budget is right. All right, let's jump back in.
Now I'm gonna be meeting with Caesar and Sahar to figure out what the home's actually worth. If the comps aren't over the 650 mark, they're dead in the water. You paid $560,000 for the house, and you also had about $10,000 in closing costs when you bought it.
Yep.
Yeah. All the remodel came to $71,000, and your carrying cost on the loan was about $11,000, and then to sell the house, about $30,000 in commission and closing costs.
Right. Yeah.
So your break even here is $682,000. After 1 week on the
Okay, again, you saw they were $1,000 over budget. I think they're I don't know where they got that money cost of $11,000. Keep in mind, that includes taxes, it includes insurance, it includes cutting the grass, the electricity, the water, the trash, anything, the sewer, anything else they were using throughout that time is all rolled into that number. It's impossible to do that at $11,000 unless they were using all of their own money.
market, Caesar and Sahar received a full price offer, but it fell through. However, they're now in escrow with another buyer at $760,000. If this deal goes through, it'll give them a total profit of $78,000.
All right, so you just heard the numbers at the end. They're in escrow for $760,000. They said they're going to have a total profit of $78K. And this was the glitz and glamour that was sold to me on HGTV for many years before I got started. Let's run the real numbers. Let's take a minute and I'll run the real numbers here. They got $71,000. They bought it for $560,000. $71,000 in rehab costs. Let's use my interest money, the interest that I said of $30K. It does interest, carrying costs, things like that. And then let's use the closing costs, I think, of $38,400. All right, there's $10,000 in purchase closing costs. That should be right because they actually closed and bought it. So let's see, $560,000 plus $71,000 in renovation costs, plus $30,000 in money and holding costs, plus $38,400 in selling costs, plus $10,000 gives me $709,400 minus $760,000, $50K, $50,600 to be exact. Still an absolute great deal. So I'll take $50,600 any day of the week, but it's not $78,000. So if we can just get real on these shows, and they showed $50,600, it would probably still give them the same viewership than it would at $78K. So I wish they would just show real numbers from time to time, but I love that we saw the numbers here. They just don't really dive into the details of that. So there you go. This is it. Like house flipping TV shows exposed, but $50,600 is still a pretty good few months of work.